Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Wardrobe provided by Bahari Bahamas. Visit shopbahari.com. Good morning, Bahamas, and welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in for what I know is going to be one for the record books. Because the last time I sat down with this particular guest on his show, it did not end very well for me. That's when I was in the other place. And I sat down and I had a conversation with this man. And the next thing I know, I was getting all kind of phone calls saying, sweet girl, you better start looking for another job. Because some people wasn't happy with what was said on this show. I say, what? And what was so interesting is that prior to all of the, the hullabaloo that followed the appearance, I had started receiving messages and calls from one Ed Fields talking about how the principals of the show that we discussed were, interested in coming on the show. And I said, I'd love to have them on to give their side of the story. So I thought it was all good. And the next thing I know, I start getting calls. Well, Michelle, maybe you shouldn't come in tomorrow. They're going to have a meeting on this, and we will get back to you. I said, so what you're trying to tell me is this might be my last show. Yeah, that's very possible. That's very possible. I said, okay. Then the next day I hear, sweet girl, we can play a repeat show today, okay? I said, okay. Yeah, they meeting today. We can play a repeat show today. Okay. Then the next day I hear, come in next week for your pink slip.
Wow.
That's the end of that. And the specific words I was told is they decided to drop the hammer on you. So when I got a call from Lincoln's people asking if he could be on the show, I said, now let me have a conversation with Lincoln. I said, now Lincoln, I can't afford to lose no more job. So if you come sit with me in this seat, you better behave yourself. You done cost me one job, I ain't gonna let you cost me two. So Lincoln has agreed that he's going to be a good boy today. But that being said, our slogan here is the truth has a new home. So I don't expect him to not tell the truth. I expect him to call a spade a spade. But just be mindful that sister girl got mortgage to pay. So we're trying to get ourselves in no more problems. Lincoln Bain is with us in studio today. Lincoln Bain, as you all well know, is the chairman? What are you?
Leader.
The leader of the Coalition of Independence, which is I guess, one of the newest third party options. And I say third party in quotations because how many thirds you can have? Because we done got so many parties that we can't call them third no more because you got third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, tenth, So he leads the very energetic group of young people and some, wannabe young people who say that they are not saying that change is coming. They say change is here. And they in this to shake up things in the Bahamas, to usher us into a new Bahamas. And so we're here today to talk about what Lincoln has been up to with his team of independence, now a coalition. Mr. Bain, welcome to GPS.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You can behave yourself today?
I'll try.
No, man, you can't try. You gotta be a good boy today.
Listen, I always behave myself on behalf of the Bahamian people. You know what? I've been doing this for almost 2 decades now. That's a joke compared to you, even though you look younger than me. And I've never been sued, not once. Never even been threatened with a lawsuit. Because when we open our mouth, we know exactly what to say.
So why you think that show caused so much problem?
I think it caused problem because there are always people who want to rule and who want to do what they want to do. They want to use their money and power to control this country. And when there are people who will stand up to that, it's always going to be a problem. All right. Anytime someone stands up, I want to tell this to you. Rosa Parks, we always glorify her story, but we don't know the reality behind what happened with her. We don't know the rest of the story. And if you go and read up the rest of the story, you'll realize that good job that she had, where she could dress up every day and go to work as a Black person, she lost that. Her husband lost his job because she decided to stand up. She even had to move out of town. She had to move up north, to Detroit in order to get a better living, to be able to survive, because they just harassed her.
Right.
But I could tell you one thing. I thank God every time I go to Miami that Rosa Parks did what she did. Because I wouldn't be able to eat in Red Lobster.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to even ride on the Metro Rail probably, or ride on the bus like I'm doing.
Right.
Someone had to take a stand. And right now we have a country where the same people are benefiting from everything we're doing. And now we want Bahamians in general to benefit. And I don't think that is a bad thing. I think that is the cause of our day.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir. Because I believe that if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. And a part of the problem that we have is that too many people are afraid to stand because they're afraid of the repercussions. But what we all need to realize is that if we don't all stand up for what is right, then we all gonna suffer.
Yeah.
It won't just be a matter of you protecting your family or your interests, but we all will suffer. So somebody got to take a stand. Somebody has to stand up and say, no, enough is enough. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
And if if we're not willing to take that chance, then I dare say we're as guilty as the people who are the problem, because we are enabling them to do what they do because we refuse to stand up for what is right.
And I will tell you this. I had a conversation once with Norman Solomon, very wealthy, as a white man, of course. And, he said to me, I said to him that he's very wealthy. He's done good in his life. And he said, I could have been a billionaire, if I'd mind my own business and not, get involved with politics and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And that resonated with me for years. And I experienced it when I started to become an activist. I've been doing this for, again, almost 2 decades now. And, every time I take on a big fight for the people, I suffer. I get an attack. A business is shut down. A business is attacked. But I don't worry about it because I have some experience now that I realize that once you're standing up for the right thing, God will always protect you. And you'll pop back up just like that. But the people that you helped, you're not doing it just for them. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do. And the reward is coming, elsewhere. But every time someone has to take a blow for the people. And I've never had a problem with taking a blow for the people. And I want to encourage Bahamians to stand up, man. Stand up. We can't continuously let the same people rule over us. Every time we stand up to them, they back down. But the problem is we're just so afraid.
So let me ask you now, when you first started with the activism, at the time, you pretty much gave the impression that this was just you being an activist. And then we saw it evolve to the place where you pulled together all these independents, and then it evolved to the place where you became the coalition of independents. And there's some out there who said, now, wait a minute now, was this the plan all along? You trying to swing us here? How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I started being an activist not last year. I started being an activist again over 2 decades. And every time I fought a big battle and fought these battles, I would be offered to run. And every time I refused because I was not interested in politics. What I did, it would always be someone approach me, they need help, and I would go and fight for them and end up in the limelight. Not something I was looking for. I never went looking for anything. People always came to me to help. Even this time, some young ladies came to me and said that they wanted, to go out there and do some activism, and they wanted me to help them get it done. And I end up thrust into the limelight, and we had no intentions of going into politics for this. I had a lot of people asking me to go political. I had Bishop Walter Henschel saying, Lincoln, if you really want to see the change, you have to go out there and you have to go into politics and make this happen. None of these politicians are going to make our Bahamians benefit from what is ours. So if you're serious, you can't leave it at activism. And I said, Bishop, I'm not interested. I don't want to do that. I don't have the time to waste. I have my own life I'm focused on. I'm doing, a business now. I'm doing good. Life is good. I don't have time for that. And he said, well, you have to make a decision. Others came to me, including persons in our organization now, like, Lincoln, we got to do this. And I was like, no. At every point, I was like, no, we don't want to make this, take this into politics. But then it got to the point where we went from activism, from educating the Bahamian people to activism. And then it went from activism. We saw that the government was pushing back. They were pretending that this is what they want for the people, but they were pushing back. We tabled the bill in the House of Assembly. They fought against it, and the opposition didn't stand, with us. They allowed it to be sent in the committee. We filed for commissions of inquiries, etc., and we saw what they were doing. And it came to me that they're not going to do this, and people keep pushing me, and I continuously said no, and then they locked me up. We had the plan to have a big rally, and they decided to lock me up that morning, and their intention was to thwart that rally, to cause people to be afraid to come out or to cause it to not happen. They thought the movement was just me. They didn't realize that it was a lot of people.
So you're trying to say that at that point, when you all had that rally on, it was what the park name on Robinson Road? R. and Bailey Park. So at that time, you all weren't a party as yet.
No, we weren't. We weren't even talking about that.
Okay.
In fact, there were meetings with other activists where they would bring it up, and I would say, do not bring it up around me. I'm not interested, and I don't want anyone to say that we're doing this for politics. And so I would tell them, don't bring it up around me. If you all want to talk politics, have another meeting for that. But on January 11th, they locked me up. I was in the cell. A fella in the cell with me, I actually thought that he had little mental issues, but he recognized me in the cell. He was like, you think I don't know who you are? You're the man who's fighting for our natural resources. And that shocked me that he knew that, and sitting in that cell, I just said, you know what? The politicians aren't going to do what's right. It's not going to happen. And we have to step up, it had come to me, 3 o'clock in the morning, even before that, where I looked at the Arab Spring. And the Arab Spring was where they rose up all over, Arabia, the Middle East, and throughout governments. And we realized that today, those countries are worse off than they were back then, 10 years ago. And it's because the activists removed the government who was in power, hoping that the next government would do better. But the next government did worse. And they clamped down on the activists and activism because they realized we don't want them to have the power to do what they did to the government that got thrown out to us. And so they clamped down on the media. They locked up all the activists, locked them down, and made sure it would never happen again. And that realization hit me. The only countries where they improved 10 years later were the countries where the activists went into politics to bring the actual change. And we realize that we have to give the Bahamian people a chance to make a choice. You want to replace this bad government with another bad government, like happened last election? Do you want to do that again and suffer even more? Or do you want to finally make a change? And that's why we're here.
So, but some could ask the question, Lincoln, how we know you ain't gonna be another bad government?
We don't know that we're going to be a bad government or not, but what we do know is door number 1 and door number 2, every time I open those doors, I get raped or robbed. Every time. I swing back and forth between door number 1 and door number 2. At some point, I got to try door number 3, or I am the fool to keep going in door number 1 and door number 2. If you have 2 people who abuse you and assault you and neglect you every single time, and you keep going from one to the next, you have nothing to lose by going to the third one.
We have a call on the line.
Go ahead.
Caller, welcome to GPS.
Thank you. Good morning, Michelle. How you doing?
Great. How are you today?
Pretty good. Morning, Lincoln.
Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, JD here, buddy.
Hey, JD.
You know, I'm a supporter of the DNA, but you know what my attitude is now when it comes to politics in the Bahamas?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless as to what political party I support, I am looking forward to the political organization that is truly going to be the best humanly possible best option for this country.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the DNA, that's the DNA. If that's another organization like yours, then so be it. I said this to the DNA, and I've said this publicly otherwise. So I'm just repeating that point here. I'm not interested in party label, and I'm interested in party loyalty for the sake of party loyalty. I am interested in the health, welfare, and benefit of this country, wherein all Bahamians will be better off, or at least be able to work to becoming better off. And if that's XYZ party that can do that for this country, then at the day of election, I would put my vote behind XYZ party.
Yeah.
Now, all of that being said, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I just listened to your presentation over the past 10 minutes, so I got enough to understand, what you're talking about. What I'd like to ask you, Lincoln, is this: what was that bill that was presented in Parliament through Frederick McCullough that you and others would have put out there? What was that again?
That was a bill to repeal the Aragonite Mining Act, so that we could get to the point of having Bahamians benefit from our Aragonite.
Is that the act that was passed in 1971 or 1972 by the pending administration that's still in play?
Yes, it was.
No, I mean, that's the same one that you're referring to. That's still in effect.
That act is still in effect. It was signed by a family member of yours who was the...
Oh, yes, Jeffrey Thompson. He was
Yes.
my uncle.
Yes.
He was the Minister of Home Affairs at the time under the pending administration. For the life of me, Michelle, I do not understand why the pending administration, supposing to have been wanting to fight for economic as well as political power, did not see the wisdom in turning all of that over to be the Bahamian people. I can't understand yet. Were they bought off? I don't know. But that's the question I have to ask. Well, I'm straying a little bit, but what I'm getting at is this. Now, with all due respect to the Speaker of the House of Assembly, I don't know the gentleman personally, so I'm going to be very careful because I have no interest nor intention of casting any aspersions on him. But I, as a clear-thinking Bahamian, I find it very perplexing that that bill was so quickly rushed into a committee. I understood what his reasoning was, that it was a financial bill that was being asked to be repealed, to be replaced by this one, and that had to go to committee. I understand that. But what I'd like to know is, was there some other way, Lincoln, that you maybe can let the public know that we may not yet know? Is there some other way Parliament could have dealt with that bill that you all on behalf of we the Bahamian people put in there that could have had the same effect on the floor of Parliament rather than having gone to a committee? Do you know of any other option rather than going to a committee?
Normally, what you do is you send bills to committee to stall it. All right. So the bill wasn't thrown out because it would have been political suicide for the government. But what they did is send it to committee. Now, a committee can review a bill and they can review it for the next 10 years if they want to, but they don't have to ever bring it back. And hopefully, in a few months or a few years, people will forget about the bill and you just leave it in committee. And so that was really their strategy for doing that. All right. They were trying to find a way to get rid of that bill, but they weren't able to. And so they sent it to committee. I think that they should have just passed the bill. The bill.
What was the name of the bill?
Well, it's a long there's a long name. The Ocean
the
Ocean Industries Aragonite Mining Act Repeal Bill. All right, that's a short title.
Understood.
All right,
Got it.
and so that was a bill with the view to empower one company, foreign company.
The Dillingham Corporation.
All right, one company to empower them to be able to mine aragonite in our country, and that they could pass this license on to any company as long as it was a foreign company. It says it in the bill, you see, and so that's what we have a problem with.
And that's where it bothers me as to how come the pending administration could have been so short-sighted to have done something so anti-Bahamian and anti-Bahamas.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that bill, Michelle?
No, I have not.
Please, at your earliest opportunity. By the way, they took it offline. It was online and they took it off.
It's on our website on BahamianEvolution.com.
Perfect.
It is still there.
It's the Ocean Industries Aragonite Mining Act, Michelle, 1972, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically, as Lincoln just indicated, in 1972 now, a year before this country became independent, the pending administration gave a non-Bahamian company the right to control, operate, own, whatever they called it, our natural resources that could have been established in a national sovereign fund.
Well, from what I understand, JT, they were pretty much told and they believed that it really didn't have very much value.
That's how silly and stupid they were to buy that.
Yeah.
Michelle, because Michelle, I when you were over on that other station, you were bringing up information to the Bahamian people that many Bahamians are now aware of, that shows how valuable our natural resources are.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you see, either the pending administration was naive, either they were misled, or either they were stupid. It had to have been one of the three as to why they could have turned around and given something away to a non-Bahamian that had every opportunity to empower their own citizens.
I'll tell you, JT. It was simple. The pending administration was young at the time. They had little life experience. These were nice, good fellas with a lot of zeal, and they were the freedom fighters we needed. They had little business experience. And so when these foreigners came with their business savvy, they made Pinland think that the Bahamas were going to benefit from this. And they put something in there for the Bahamas to get a percentage.
At 6 cents a cotton picking ton?
Yeah, it was 6 cents a ton. All right.
And now it's been raised to $2.50 per ton?
But there was also something in there for us to get a percentage. Okay.
Royalties, man. 12% royalties.
And so we were supposed to get a percentage of the royalties. And so that's why Pinland came and exclaimed that the aragonite is going to be the savior of this country. He exclaimed that and said that this was white gold. And so when he saw that on paper, it sounded good. All right. But what the foreigners did was they just went and formed a separate company and sold to themselves. And we presented the documents for that, sold to themselves so that there was no profit. And they let the second company resell it for much more money. And when that happened, you see, Pinland couldn't come back and say, this is what happened. It just went quiet because now you're admitting to the Bahamian people, hey,
you were wrong. Yeah.
You are
yeah.
outsmarted. And so they just had to let that one go. It's like back in the day, remember banks, sometimes a bank manager might be caught doing something, the bank would just keep it, secret because it's an embarrassment to the bank.
That's it.
And they would just settle it. So it was the same kind of attitude back then. And so they keep getting outsmarted by these foreign investors. The same thing happened to recently. The recent bill that was recent, not bill, but the contract that was signed for this agreement with Ocean Key, you see where it was the same kind of deal. It was up to $2, and it was like, this is only going to be $2 because you guys are saying that you're going to take this aragonite and dump it on a beach. And they put in writing that this is only for beach restoration. Okay? But then what they did, they took it in the Bahamas, went to Florida, and formed another company, other companies, and then they did what they wanted with it, and it wasn't beach restoration. So technically, it's legal, but it's it was outsmarting our government again.
Lincoln, for the benefit of those of us who are listening, do you happen to have a list handy of all of the products or sub-products that aragonite could be used for? Do you have that handy?
No, there's no list because they use sand and aragonite for almost every product in the world.
But that's my point exactly.
Almost every product in the world uses sand and aragonite. It is the most used natural resource in the world, second to water, and that's only because we drink it.
And according to the American Museum of Natural History, it is my understanding that they did a report on our country's aragonite years ago, and found that our country's aragonite is the purest in the world at 97%.
Yes, our country's aragonite is the purest in the world.
In the world, which means it virtually needs no refining or processing in order for it to be used.
Yes, it needs. I hear people talking about, you'll have to refine it, you'll need equipment and that kind of stuff. Listen, a lot of the money made from our aragonite, you don't need to refine it. You just, they're selling, what we showed in our documentary. We showed in our documentary where they were selling it on the internet for play sand and for aquarium sand. Okay. And you don't need to refine it. You just take it. And they were selling the play sand for $7,000, up to $7,000 a metric ton. In most cases, we found it for like $4,000 a metric ton.
You see?
But they got it for $2.
So, gentlemen, I don't want this show to become a show about aragonite.
Thank you.
We got other things to discuss, JT.
Yes, Michelle. Okay.
So,
you see, Michelle, the only reason I wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to bring out more information, since Lincoln is there. But my point really for bringing all of that up was, what could we do, even now as a people in Parliament, if those people would be listening to us, to have a bill like that get passed through Parliament rather than being jammed down the throat of a committee that's just going to stall that bill. That was my premise for calling. My other thing that I'd like to bring to your attention, Lincoln, and I'm going to let you go. This bill that is called the Lands Adjudication Bill. Have you heard of it?
Say again?
The Lands Adjudication Bill. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Well, that lands adjudication bill is one of three. I can't remember the other two that this administration tabled in 2018, and the Ingram administration tabled it in 2010, I think. It basically, Lincoln, at the end of the day, will effectively, through law, take away all of your generation property and all of your crown land. Not crown land, sorry, commonage land. Mm-hmm. What they're saying in that bill is that the real estate market or industry or the developers market seem to be, through that article I read in The Guardian, lobbying the government to pass this bill. And if you have 10 acres or 100 acres or 1,000 acres of generation property, but you cannot prove your legal absolute ownership of that property, the government will require you, through that law, to only to prove ownership to an acre and a half. If you can prove by squatters' rights an acre and a half, you will only end up with an acre and a half of your 100 acres, your 1,000 acres, whatever the case may be, because this bill, in effect, will be stripping away from you your family heritage. All because somebody doesn't like the fact that your generation property, your communist land is sitting out there smiling at God's sky. And you ain't doing nothing with it. They won't do something with it. But they won't work with you to help you to do something with it. They won't get it for themselves.
All right, JD, thank you so much. I will tell you this.
Please look into it, Lincoln.
I will look into it, and if you really want change in this country, it's not going to come through the persons who have been doing the same thing over and over. It's going to come through it's not going to come to the PLP or the FNM. It's going to come through us. We are going to make sure that Bahamians benefit from our land, our generation property. We're going to give every single Bahamian a piece of land in this country. Every Bahamian adult a piece of land in this country.
Which the PLP and the FNM should have done a long time ago.
Yes. We have millions of acres of crown land, and we're going to make sure that every Bahamian adult, that's a couple 100,000, are able to get a piece of crown land, and that won't even touch our inventory of crown land. And
but
so
then
we're going to
have a right to it because the land collectively belongs to all of we as Bahamians. Thank you for your time, Michelle. God bless you.
All right. Thanks for calling. We're going to take a break. I saw several calls trying to come through, but we can only do the one call at a time. So we're going to take this quick break. When we come back on the other side, you can then call in to ask Mr. Bain your questions. My choice of show name today is Choices, Choices, Choices. We're talking to Lincoln Bain, and we'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Dress, hats off. Looking like I walked out of catalog. Everybody wanna know where I got it from. Catwalk, 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 boutique, where we make fashion statements. Catwalk, boutique, where we make fashion statements.
For the latest styles in women's clothing and accessories, visit Catwalk Boutique on Robertson Road East at the Helron Plaza. At Catwalk Boutique, we make fashion statements.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Alive.
Alive, Believe in Best. And by Tropical Gyros. Not just good food, it's an experience.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm Michelle Malcolm, and my guest today is Lincoln Bain. I'm calling the show today Choices, 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 because he, as you know, is the leader of the the Coalition of Independents. And we're here today talking about the choices that are facing the Bahamian electorate, even though JT called and take up most of my time talking about Aragonite. But now I want to be talking about today. Let's stay focused. We're talking about choices. Now, I see somebody trying to call, but y'all were calling the text line. The number to call is 828-3543. That's the call line. 828-3543 is the number to call. And if you hear somebody talking to us on the phone, just wait until they're done and then call back. But the number to call is 828-3543, and the text line is 828-2543. 828-2543 is the text line. All right? So those of you who were trying to call earlier, when JT was on, we see somebody calling now. Now is the time. Caller, welcome to GPS. Hello, caller. Caller, you're on the air. Okay. Not sure what happened there. All right. So Lincoln, obviously, we spent a lot of time on the first half of the show, but you guys sort of came to prominence with the whole concept of protecting our natural resources, and so that Bahamians could benefit more from it. And I know that a big part of your message has been that of a sovereign wealth fund. So what is your hope? What is your plan as it relates to a sovereign wealth fund for the Bahamas?
Well, I will tell you this. I just want to always add when I speak that we were definitely not the first persons to speak about natural resources, or that we should benefit from our natural resources. As people who've been doing that for years.
Right.
I think what we did that made it different was we came with proof and documents and signed agreements, and that showed what has been going on. We tracked down what has been happening. And so I think that was the difference that we brought to the table. In terms of our sovereign wealth fund, we as we were studying, we started to see countries all over the world where people were benefiting from their natural resources all over the world. Even in America, in Alaska, they benefit from their natural gas and their oil, where they get a percentage of it. Every single resident of Alaska, and that's in America. So this is not a communist concept at all. This is a concept where we believe that we own the natural resources, and it should be for the people to benefit. Countries like Norway, where this is happening, countries like Finland, and countries like Dubai and Qatar and these Middle Eastern countries. And so we saw that there's this new concept that the people own the natural resources. The government is only managing it for them, but the government keeps allowing foreign interests to be able to benefit from these natural resources. And so what we want is what these countries have. In these countries, some of them get checks, some of them don't. Like Norway, they don't give you a check. They just let you have so many benefits. There's no taxes, free healthcare, free electricity, and all these other things that you have free. But some countries, they do give you checks. In some Middle Eastern countries, United Arab Emirates, when you are born, they open an account for you. When you become 18, you get $100,000. They say in Bahrain, you get $350,000. When you get married, you get $20,000. So there's a lot of different benefits. It's $3,000 checks a month from these pension funds. And so there are countries that are benefiting from their natural resources. And we thought our natural resources is more valuable and more needed than any other country in the world. Why can't Bahamians benefit? And so that's what we want. And so we produce, as we were activists, we produced Vision 2025 to show exactly the plan, not just talking this, the plan and the research, how we're going to go from not benefiting from our natural resources to benefiting from it, and to all Bahamians benefiting from it. We laid out how this is going to happen and what we're going to do with it. One line item in that Vision 2025, one line item, Michelle, was $100,000 checks for all real Bahamian adults.
Which a lot of people took issue with. A lot of people said you selling dreams.
Yeah, but remember, there's a lot of people that are just hearing about this because they believe that we are saying that because we are saying it to get votes. When that came out, when Vision 2025 came out was last year while we were on Bay Street, while we were protesting on Bay Street, we were activists. There was no intention of us to even run. And so we presented that the same way previous union leaders had come together in 2014. They presented a letter and did research, and they presented a letter to Perry Gladstone Christie at the time and said, based on their research, every Bahamian household can get $100,000 per person from our Aragonite based on the value of it. And so they started this, and so we investigated to see if that was possible, and that's what we came with as activists, just like them, not for votes. And so it was just one line item in the entire plan with so many other different ideas. But when we became political, when it became political, people started saying, oh, they're doing that because they're trying to get votes. No, when we did that, we had no intentions of getting anyone's vote. We were putting that forward as a vision to present to the politicians so that they could take these ideas and bring it to the fore. But then when we started to realize that they wouldn't, that's when we decided that we would have to do this.
That is my next question, because there are some who would say, why do we have to vote you in to get this done when everything is in place right now for it to be done? Why not just agitate for it to be done now? Why do we have to wait until the prime minister decides to call an election and then hope you get in? And then if you get in, why not just agitate for it to be done now?
That's exactly what we were doing as activists. That's what we were doing. But what happened was they were fighting us. All right. We didn't just talk this, Michelle. We went on the streets. We brought the Bahamian people out in the middle of COVID lockdowns. Don't forget that. All those hundreds of people that came out, they came out risking their lives. They were so serious about this. They came and filled Rawson Square. We marched from Awaki. We marched to Government House. We pushed the bills forward. We didn't just come talking and with megaphones, Every time we came, we filed complaints with the FTC. All right, we called the FBI about what we saw happening. We didn't come talking. We were real activists. We didn't come with placards saying that the government must change. We took real action. Okay, we tabled a bill. All right, people have never seen a bill tabled by civilians. From on Rawson Square, we had them in the House of Assembly tabling our bill. So we took this extremely seriously. But at some point, you have to realize that that politicians are not going to do what's right. And that's why we did it. So we don't have to wait, We can tell our politicians to do it. But why would they do it? They're just going to ignore you. This is how they get their bread buttered. The people who are benefiting pay for elections. And so when the people who are benefiting tell the people who they pay, we don't want this bill passed, they just ignore it until election. That's what they always do. So we stood up and fought. We did everything by the books. We filled Orem Bailey Park. We did everything. Now we're going to take this country back and we are going to give it to Bahamians.
Okay, so you have decided to become a political, you say you're not a party, but you're a coalition of independents, which some people say that's a party. But whatever, semantics. Pound for pound, why should the electorate give you an opportunity? If we look at pound for pound, who all the others are presenting for election, why your coalition? Why should they choose you?
Man, that's a good question. Pound for pound. I don't know how you want me to address this first. Pound for pound, in terms of the leaders of all of the two major parties and myself, I'll say that. Pound for pound, you have someone who has shown and displayed that he is going to fight for the Bahamian people, even if he has to take a loss to do so. I've proven that. You're sending someone to government who has proven that he will not take a bribe.
But you're just one individual.
Yes, I'm starting there because we gotta dissect it.
Okay.
So I'm starting with the leadership because you said pound for pound.
Right.
All right. And so you have someone who is qualified internationally and locally. And I have more business experience than any prime minister who has ever run before. All right. And we will not be outsmarted by these foreign interests that come here to benefit from our country. You have someone who is going to stand up and fight for the Bahamian people, not sit down and watch anything happen. So we move from there to keep it just a summary. When we look at our candidates, when we look at the other political parties, I had a conversation before with Glenn and Martin. I've said this publicly over and over. And she said to me outside of Parliament, she said when she came into politics, she had so much vigor and zeal. There's so much things that she wanted to see done, but when she got in, she realized that you can't do anything you want to do. You do what the party tells you, and that's it. It doesn't matter what qualifications you have. It's only what the party wants that you do. And we see it over and over. They'll present all these qualified people that are saying, oh, this is the new generations. They're talented, they're gifted. Then when they get in, you wonder where all this talent gone. Where's all this talent y'all said y'all had? Why are these people so quiet and sitting down? Why are they so hopeless? It's because the party's now just puppets and following the rules of whoever put them in place. We know that that's not going to happen with us.
Why?
It's not going to happen with us because I have proven, what someone is going to do after election by what they did before. Okay? Before election, Minnis never fought for the poor people, never did anything for the poor. He was not known for being a charitable person. So why do you think after election he was going to look out for the poor? He never was going to. And so Brave Davis, what he is going to do, what they did before. His track record is there. My track record is standing up for the Bahamian people, even if I have to take a loss or be attacked for it. We have put forward qualified candidates. Every Sunday at 5 p.m., we are presenting our plans, Michelle. Plans that so far have been getting rave reviews all over this nation. Our plans are not just we're going to make money from natural resources. We have real plans. We are showing you, the first week we showed you education. We showed how we're going to transform education in this country. Educators have given it rave reviews. This is the change that we actually need. We have the courage to make it happen. And we have the skills to make it happen. We are showing you candidates with master's degrees, candidates that are skilled, and no one is going to hold them back. That's one of the reasons we're keeping this concept of independent. When there was a time when before the PLP formed, they were the first political party, everyone was independent that you voted for. And they had a leader, and that was Roland Simonet. Right? They chose who their leader would be. And so that's when the country worked. When we go into office, there is no whip. That's why we're having this concept. No one is going to tell you you cannot vote against what our organization is putting forward. You vote on behalf of the people. That is what you are going to do.
But Lincoln, power sweet. And plenty of people is coming saying, oh, we can do this and we can do the next. And when they get in there, that power, they taste the sweetness of that power. All of a sudden, they had to swing. I mean, this current administration, they campaigned on transparency. That's what they promised the people. And then they get in there and they taste that sweetness and things change. So how do we know? My grandma used to say a promise is a comfort to a fool.
Yes. You know what's sweeter than that power that you're talking about? Do you know where the real power comes from? If you get in power and you deliver on your promises to the people, then you will get real power. No one would want to see you gone. And I said it to both of our political leaders now. If y'all would just do what y'all promised the people and not follow your own agenda and follow the people who pay in y'all people would not want to see y'all gone. Y'all would be there as long as y'all want to be. That's real power. But what they do is they come in, promise you this and that, and then they come in and do the bidding of the people who paid for their elections. That's the problem. If we want to really succeed, I always tell people, a win for us is not winning the election. That's not success. Success is when we deliver on everything that we've promised. Because we know if we come to election and we deliver on the things that we've promised, next election, people won't want to hear from Minnis or Davis or anybody else because they are benefiting. And that's how we can assure you that we are looking to benefit you. And then you be the judge. So to finish answer your question, we have candidates. We presented candidates with master's degrees, experience in education. We went on to tourism. We presented persons who love tourism, been in the industry for a very long time, are very qualified. We showed you how we're going to change tourism from an advertising agency into a business for Bahamians. We showed you the numbers, how we're going to do it, where the money is coming from and where it's going. We broke it down. And last week, we showed you our energy plan, how we're going to reform energy. We showed you how we're going to turn energy into a business. We showed you exactly where the money is coming from and what we're going to do. And everything we do, we show you examples of where it's happening elsewhere in the world. And all of these that we've presented to you, we've not talked about we're going to sell aragonite or sell sand. We showed you how we're going to turn these particular industries into a business. And so last week with energy, we showed you 3 of our shadow ministers. One of them, world respected, worked at Lockheed Martin, one of the biggest engineering companies in the world, worked at NASA. All right. You can't get more experience than that. Worked at other major companies, master's degree, etc. Another master's degree candidate, person who worked at BMW and other major companies, including major companies here in the Bahamas. Another person who actually works now at BPL, an engineer, etc., who works there now. And so we're showing you not just the candidates. These other people are listing names of candidates and doing what they always do. They're saying, just vote for this person because the party sent them. We are letting these candidates come out, show you the plans, and show you who they are and why they're qualified. That is the difference. When we bring sports, we're going to show you these athletes, all right? Athletes, been around the world, representing the Bahamas, who know the industry. And we're going to show you how we're going to turn sports into a business in this country. Health, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to show you qualified people in every single area. And at that point, you can decide to go back with the old guard, with the PLP and F&M with no vision, talking about billing Bridge and Baratari and billing Dock here and there, or do we go to the New Bahamas? We're going to give you the choice.
All right, we have to take a quick break. When I come back from the break, I want to ask you some questions, Lincoln, that many of your critics have to say. This is an opportunity for you to respond to your critics because
Awesome.
There are many.
Awesome. That's what I'm here for.
So we're going to talk about, some issues that people have and give you an opportunity to respond. So stay with us. This is GPS. The show today is called Choices, Choices, Choices. We're talking to the leader of the Coalition of Independents, Lincoln Bain. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm just saying that my producer is not at the control. So, okay, I guess we're going to ask another question, Lincoln, before we go to that break. So, you do have a lot of critics.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that some of your critics are saying is that you are not to be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
They say that you have been a part of other parties, specifically the DNA, that you did some underhanded things while you were there. And they say if you look at your history that you are not to be trusted. How do you respond to those critics?
You see, when political time comes up, people start spreading a lot of lies and rumors. That's how they do politics in this country.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch other countries, they do politics based on their vision for the future. And when I hear these things, I always tell people, just bring it to the forefront so we can deal with it. If there's anything, just bring it. I'm not like Minnis and Brave Davis, who are telling people to not talk about them and trying to quiet them. Like Brave Davis is calling Urka and Facebook and everyone and telling them, don't let these people talk about me. I'm saying we need to be able to challenge our leaders, everything about them, especially particularly their public record. I never talk about people's private history, but everything public I talk about. I would say I had a Facebook Live that thousands and thousands of people went to, and I gave all of my critics a chance. If there's anything untoward as it relates to me, please come and bring it to the forefront. I will answer. I will say whatever needs to be said. I expose myself. There's no other political leader who ever does that. Mm-hmm. They spend politics trying to make you think all of a sudden they're angels. I told them to come. And when none could come forward, I started to talk about things that I was hearing and that some of the lies that people were saying, and I just cleared it up. And so people talk about the fact that I was a part of other parties. I only ran for one party, and that was the DNA. I never ran for the F&M.
Okay.
Right? I was supposed to run for the F&M. That didn't work out. I stood down from the F&M because of what I saw happen with the LOI and Minnis bringing Renwood Wells over. I stood out against it.
Right.
All right. And the DNA, there's nothing that happened in the DNA that was untoward. And if the DNA could come and you can talk to Brian. I mean, I talk to Brian all the time. There's nothing that I did in there other than support the party with all of my heart and soul and fight for it. So when these people come up with these things, don't just say vague stuff. Say what happened so we can address it. But I can tell you, I've spent the last 20 years fighting for people. That's what I have done. All right. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes in my life, like everyone in the Bible. But I've spent my last 20 years fighting for others and not fighting for myself. And so if there's something, man, bring it to the forefront. If it's someone I need to apologize to, I can apologize. If it's something I need to make right, I can make it right. But we need to move on.
True. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
God bless and good morning. I have 3 points I want to touch. No to the vaccine, number one. And what are they doing with the fill that they're moving from off to downtown dredging the harbor. Late at night, you see these big trucks lining up to just towed away, 11, 12 o'clock at night. What is that all about? And we say no, me and my household, to the new health bill. Minutes and Wells do not speak for me and my family. So they can just stop right now. They speak for them and their cronies and their oligarchs. That's my point.
Okay. Do you have a question for Mr. Bain?
They were the questions in regards to the bill that is being moved. What is going on with that?
All right. Thank you so much for calling. We had a couple of statements, but go ahead, Lincoln. Can you respond?
Yeah, I heard your statement. I think you said something about the vaccine. I think that the vaccine is experimental and we need to treat it as such. You made a statement about the bill. That bill is of the devil. And I say that metaphorically. You cannot take power from the Governor General and give it to a Minister of Health, to Renwood Wells, to shut down this country at any time with no oversight or no one who can question him at any time. That cannot happen in this country or any other country in the world. We cannot allow this bill to be passed, and we need to stand up strong against that. You asked about what's happening with the fill. I have no idea what is happening with that fill. I can tell you what has happened in the past because our investigation showed that the fill was sold off the last time they dredged it. I spoke to the person who actually did some of the dredging, and they were selling it on behalf of the government. We revealed that on our documentary. And so they're most likely doing the exact same thing. They're going to take that fill and they're going to sell it. That is extremely, extremely valuable. That they are going to make a lot of money from selling that fill.
All right. We are going to take our break now. And then when we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to continue the show with Lincoln Bain. I'm calling the show today Choices, Choices, Choices. If you have a question, the number to call, 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call. Or you can send us a text at 828-2543. 828-2543. We will be back after these words from our sponsors.
Excuse me, good afternoon, excuse me. Anybody have some American single dollars, please?
Are you sure are you going for any?
No, my mommy sent me to the cooler ice machine, but I only have Bahamian money. Oh, well, tell your mommy she late it. Just take Bahamian currency now, child.
You heard right. Cooler Ice Bahamas now accepts U.S. and Bahamian currency. So pull up to any of our locations and get your freshly bagged ice for as low as $3. A Cooler Ice machine is right around the corner. So visit us at Arawaki, Montague Boat Ramp, Potter's Key Dock, Superwash locations, Nassau Street, Gibbs Corner, Wolf Road, Prince Charles Drive, Charles Sanders Highway, Soldier Road, Carmichael Road, and our 4 new locations: Superwash, Carmichael Road West, BPSU Building on Wolf Road, Rolls Auto on East Street South, and Joe Farrington Road, opposite Checkers Cafe. Cooler Ice Bahamas, fresh and ready whenever you are.
Looking for an extraordinary junior high school with caring, qualified staff and affordable tuition? Then come visit us at Elite School of Excellence, an affiliate of First Step Academy. ABECA-focused and Ministry of Education approved, we foster discipline, integrity, and wisdom while molding our students for success. Call us at 341-8846 or stop by First Step Academy schools on Fire Trail and Soldy Roads for more information.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries This great tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Escape from the city life to Bacon Air Beach Resort in Pirateswell, Mayaguana. Relax in one of 16 air-conditioned rooms just steps away from the ocean. Enjoy scrumptious dishes in our waterfront dining room. Sip on a tropical cocktail, or if you must, stay connected with wireless internet. Nestled on one of the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas, Bacon Air Beach Resort offers a unique vacation experience. For reservations, call 339-3726 or 463-0182. This portion of GPS is brought to you by Easy Car Sales, home of the electric vehicle. Visit easy242.com and free yourself from gas. And by Crystal Clear H2O Alkaline Water. Come visit us in our new location in the Jams Plaza on East Street South. And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. My guest today is Lincoln Bain, leader of the Coalition of Independents, calling the show today Choices, 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 because boy, do we have a lot of choices in this next election. I don't think in all my days I've seen this many parties vying for leadership of our country ever before, from the time I know myself. This is a first. And I often say that that's good. It's a good sign for democracy, but it's also a sign that people really don't have any confidence in the leadership, and they think anybody could do a better job than this. I might as well go throw my hat in the ring. But you know, the proof is in the pudding. And so I want to talk to Mr. Bain in the second part of the show about some of their plans for addressing some of the major issues facing the country right now, because this country, we in bad shape, y'all. We in bad shape. And I know that a lot of people will say, well, Michelle, what you expect? We were hit with Dorian, or you know, we have this pandemic that's affecting the whole world, and that is true. But I dare say that we were in trouble before those calamities hit us. In terms of some of the decisions that were made by this current administration. And those, to me, in my humble opinion, those two calamities only made it worse and only sort of ripped the veil so that everybody could see the inadequacies that we have been facing. So the question for you, Lincoln, is how will you be different in terms of addressing these issues? Let's break them down one by one. Let's talk about this health crisis that we find ourselves in now with COVID-19. I think I heard it said when they made the ruling that you have to be vaccinated in order to campaign, and only 5 people allowed. I remember you saying that in your view, this was just a way to try to disadvantage their opponents because you and your team in particular have not been vaccinated. What would be your coalition's approach to get us out of this mess that we're in as it relates to this pandemic?
Right. So we actually released, if you go to our website, coalitionofindependence.com, we released our comprehensive plan. We released our plan. It was 2 hours long to be able to outline exactly what it is we're going to be doing to respond differently. And we gave real plans for this. In terms of what I said about barring people from campaigning if they're not vaccinated, not only is that illegal, and we're going to make sure that that is addressed once we take over government. We're going to make the government pay for all of these things that they've done wrong to the Bahamian people. That is a ploy they did just to stop people from being able to campaign against them. But you see, they make these excuses, as you started to say, about Dorian and about COVID. The thing that you should do as a government before you want to come in, before you're the government, is plan so that when you come in, you can hit the ground running from day one. And as people are seeing our plans, they're seeing that our plans are well thought out, well planned, well researched. We're actually speaking to stakeholders all over the world and in the Bahamas to make sure that we are ready from day one. What is the difference? Every single government, Michelle, has been hit with a hurricane. They've been met with a hurricane and met with a major downturn in the economy. All right. When Ingram took over in 92, what did we have? We had Hurricane Andrew, which was not as big as Dorian, but it was the biggest of that day. It was the biggest and most expensive hurricane in the world at the time. He had to not make excuses. He had to just get it done. He also had a great recession in the early 90s that he had to deal with and work through. He didn't make excuses. He got it done. Perry Christie came in just after the 9/11 breakdown in the economy and had to deal with all of those hurricanes back to back. It was like they couldn't get a break, but they also expanded the economy at the time. In 2007, Ingram was met with more hurricanes and another 2007 downturn in the economy. That was the Great Recession. And so anyone who wants to come in government should have been planning for that. Okay. And so, yes, Dorian was big. Yes, COVID is major. But the fact is, we are planning right now for our downturn in the economy. We're planning on how we're going to deal with that. And we're looking at other countries that made it through this COVID pandemic unaffected. And we're also looking at if we have another major downturn in the economy and another hurricane. We're preparing for a major hurricane, and we're going to release our plans to show you exactly how we're going to deal with these hurricanes. So we're not coming in talking about this stuff. The problem is these guys only come in to see how they can make money and what they can make money from, and they don't do anything that they're not making money from. We're still very concerned about, the situation with Canoe. I'm not going to go further on that, but we're concerned about that. There's questions that have been raised. We're very concerned about who got contracts for this $250 million loan that the government got, and they are refusing to say who got these loans. You're talking about the issue of trust? How can we trust this government? Remember, we couldn't trust the previous administration before. We knew we couldn't trust them. We got rid of them. And we can't trust this government. So things that we're going to do, you can go to our website and you can see it. But it's going to be things that make sense, Michelle, not things that is unthought out. The government came into this pandemic. They locked down the country, but the airport was still open. Come on, man. You don't need a master's degree to know that if the airport is open and you lock down Bahamians, you're still going to get COVID into your country. It doesn't make sense. Bahamians can't have weddings, but the foreigner is having a wedding. Bahamians are locked down in Miami, but the foreigners can come in on their private airplanes. These are the things that people have a problem with. And so, like I said, I won't go into all of the things that we're going to do. Just go to our website, coalitionofindependence.com, and you will see a whole everything written down that we're going to do differently. But it includes the hospital is running out of space. Mm-hmm. They're crying about beds. We gave a suggestion for using a cruise ship to be able to bring into the Nassau Harbor for all of the COVID patients and all of the COVID hospitalizations to separate them from the rest of us in this country, Michelle. Mm-hmm. We think it's a brilliant idea. Why? Because the cruise ships, we also showed proof of where cruise ships, 33 of them now, during the pandemic have been destroyed for scrap metal. They've sold them for scrap metal because it's more expensive to just keep them sitting there and maintaining them than to just sell it for scrap metal. And the ship is gone forever. Perfectly good ship, not old ships, perfectly good ships they were scrapping. And so we could have helped the cruise ship save their ship or acquired one by saying that, okay, we're going to take on this ship. However, we showed where we'll get the money from. We're either lease it or buy it, use it to house people who have tested positive so that we keep them away from society. That way, the hospital is not burdened. The economy can, the Bahamians don't have to be locked down. We can continue to move around, and the tourists can continue to come in because we're going to turn the hotels into bubbles. The details are right on our website. You could see exactly how this is going to work. Someone said, the cruise ship is too big and it's going to be too expensive to turn the whole cruise ship into a hospital. That is utterly ridiculous. Atlantis didn't start the way it is. They started small with the Coral Towers and Beach Towers. They used the part of the whole property they bought and started out small. Bahama didn't start the way it is. We're not turning the whole ship into a hospital, just a portion of it. ICU at PMH is just one small percentage of PMH. That's one small area. Okay? You're only turning where you need into a hospital, and the rest of it is beds to keep people in. Remember, they used Breezes Hotel to do just what I'm saying. It wasn't expensive. They didn't have to bring in any special equipment, etc. They used Breezes Hotel, a piece of it, and allowed people to be there so they could get treated. What does the cruise ship have? Beds. The special beds that you will need for ICU, etc., you bring that in. The special equipment, you bring that in. A couple $1 million to save the entire Bahamas and keep the economy going? Come on.
Okay. what is your plan as it relates to getting our economy back on track? We've been waiting now for this economic recovery plan. I don't give up. I don't expect to see it come. This administration is known for saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. But if you hold your breath, you'll be among those pushing up daisies in short order because it's nowhere in sight and no word as to when it will come. What is your plan? Because, oftentimes we have, mouth could say anything, especially in opposition. Mm-hmm. You could promise me the world. And then what often happens when people get into power, then the next excuse we hear is, well, we didn't know it was this bad. And now we have to face the reality that it's this bad and we can't do some of the things that we promised to do. Now, my thing is this. You need to find out as much as you possibly can how bad it is before you start making all of these promises. So that when you get in there, you can't now start to backtrack and say, well, I know we promised to do all of this, but we didn't expect it to be this bad. And now we see how bad it really is. And every single one of them do that every single time. So what is your plan to hit the ground running on day one with regard to restoring this economy?
Yeah, Michelle, I will tell you that one of the reasons we've been experiencing that is because you kept voting for the same people. You were voting for Christie Ingram Davis and co. The same people. You were switching back and forth to friends, and you were actually not switching at all. And so when they get in, they continue to do the other people were doing, and they continue. These are business partners. These are friends. You thought you were getting something different. You were not. And as much as as people have told you over the years, listen, this is the same people. They best friends. Ingram said in the House of Assembly, he said, if I don't have it, Perry will have it. We heard it out of his mouth, and we still didn't get it, Michelle. He admitted it. And guess what he did? He gave it to Perry. He did. All right. And so we have been seeing this straight through, and that is why the opposition in every country is in control of the PAC. All right. They can know whatever is going on in the country. They can know. They can subpoena any document. And that's why I was bothered the other day when I saw Brave Davis in the media and on the House of Assembly saying that ministers should tell the people the names of the people with the companies that got these contracts. Mm-hmm. Why is he begging for that? He knows the law. He knows his power. He doesn't really want to shake the tree. He doesn't want to rock the boat because he is in charge of the Public Accounts Committee. He can subpoena anybody, the owners of those companies. He can subpoena the Prime Minister. The leader of the opposition can subpoena the Governor General. They can subpoena any document, any email, any information that they want. Why are you sitting down saying, Minister, y'all bring the documents? Because he can say, well, I just said something about it, but he's not going to do anything about it. That is the problem. So when they come in and say, oh, we didn't know how bad it was, you know exactly how bad it was. But they lie because they don't want to do anything. Then guess what happens? Whenever they want to do something, they'll say, oh, we broke. Then when something come up they want to do, all you'll see this money come from nowhere. Oh, we broke. But we're going to spend $65 million in this hotel in Freeport. Oh, I thought you was broke. Oh, we broke, but we then they pop up. Oh, we're going to spend $17 million on drones, and these are the kinds of things we're seeing. That's just as a precursor to what I'm saying. And so, again, we started to release our plans for what we're going to do as we to change this economy. All right. The difference with what we're going to do and what these other people have done, we are not going to have an economy that is dependent on taxes and loans. Their entire plan is for taxes and loans. That's how they make money. We're going to change the game. We know the value of what we have, and we made it clear. I've been making it clear. We know that we have certain natural resources. For example, we have sand that the world needs. Michelle, think about this. We don't need master's degree to understand this. The world is running out of sand. If you Google it, you'll see it everywhere. The UN has already met on this, put out documents on this to say that certain countries can't even touch their sand because it's not renewable for them, only for us. The world is running out of sand. If we are the only ones who have easily accessible sand left, how are we poor? Why are we borrowing? Do we have governments that don't know our value, or do they want to keep us that way? The world is running out of sand, the most used natural resource in the world. Everything you need has sand in it. Everything. And so the first thing that Dubai did, they were poor, people were dying on the streets, they discovered oil. Not a lot. So what they did was they said, okay, we're going to take this oil and use it as collateral to invest in other things. That's why only 5% of their GDP was oil, because they invested in other areas. And that's what we're doing now. And our plans are showing you that. We're showing you the other areas we're going to invest in. Our plan is not going to be dependent on sand, natural resources, oil, whatever it is they think that we have here. It's going to be used to get us to where we need to get. And so I gave example of Biden. He wanted a $2 trillion bill passed so that he could do infrastructure. All countries, when they have a downturn, they come out of that downturn by doing infrastructural work. It provides jobs, it gets the economy going. And so Biden said $2 trillion, they're going to build roads, $2 million in homes, housing for people, 2 million, not dollars, 2 million homes, all right? 500,000 low-cost homes. And we showed line by line, we've gone through all of this research to see who our customers would be. We have a team of people looking for the companies involved so that we know who we're going to approach when we take over government to sell our natural resources to. And so we also saw that China's Belt and Road Initiative, it's a up to $10 trillion project also, but they're around the $2 trillion mark right now. But they're trying to build roads and highways, et cetera, to connect all of Europe, Asia, et cetera, to China. They need natural resources. All right. Other countries are doing the exact same thing. Now the G7 is saying that they want to compete with the Belt and Road Initiative. So the G7 came together and said, we can't let China have all this power. We have to invest in infrastructure for these other countries too. Guess what they're going to need? They're going to need what we have: sand, aragonite, etc. All right.
So your plan is?
So our plan is that we are going to invest our sand. We're going to make deals with companies and countries. Initially, we're going to get purchase orders, and those purchase orders are going to be used to stimulate our economy. And we presented a plan for what we're going to do exactly with these things. And so once we've get those things, the first thing we're going to do is start giving stimulus to Bahamian people so that we can survive in the meantime. We're starting off giving Bahamians, at the minute we get in, $2,000 across the board, like Canada is doing, like Turks and Caicos did.
Where's this money coming from?
The money again is coming. We are going to initially find persons who want to buy our natural resources immediately. In fact, we are identifying them from now. We're not just saying that when we win, we're going to start doing this. We're identifying them from now. We're going to make deals with them immediately. There's desperate need for sand, according to what everyone in the world is saying. We're going to make deals with them so that we have purchase orders from them. So you can go to China and say, listen, or you can go to America and say, we're going to sell you this value of sand. We're going to sell you $1 billion worth of sand. All right, because you need it for your project, your $2 trillion project.
So what will you do with the persons who have existing agreements to be able to mine and sell to America and other countries now? Are you going to say, okay, that's the end of your contract, we're now going to do this as a country? What are you going to do?
No, we are a responsible government. We're not ending anybody's contracts. We're not stopping anyone from being able to benefit. They can continue to mine. None of them have an exclusive. No one who is using our natural resources has an exclusive. Martin Salt doesn't have an exclusive. In fact, they don't really have a contract. They're just operating with a business license. But we could set up another salt mine right next to them in Inagua. But there are 13 other salt ponds in the rest of the Bahamas. Those who have the aragonite deal, they only have it for a 500 square mile space. You can't even see that on the map. That's so small. All right. We have the whole entire Bahama banks that we can get the sand from. It's coming out of the water. If you go on Google Earth, the sand is piling up. It's renewable so much it is coming out of the water off of Eleuthera. All right. So we don't need to stop any deals, any arrangements. We're not that kind of government. We're not shutting anyone down. They will continue to be able to operate. Now we're going to renegotiate deals with some people who are there. We're going to come to you and say, listen, you've had an advantage for all of this time. And so we want to renegotiate a deal with you. The thing that I've noticed, Michelle, is that these foreign companies want to pay their fair share. They're used to doing that in business. American companies paid up to 35% in taxes. They're used to that. That's their taxes. All right. It was reduced a little bit under Trump, and they're going to increase it a little bit more now. But 35%, that's just the deal. Saudi Arabia, they don't have any expertise in oil. They didn't have any equipment for oil. They let the shell come in, shell mine. They found the oil, and then the government got 86%, and the company got 14%. The company is used to paying their fair share. It belongs to the country. Only in the Bahamas we sell ourselves short, and this is what the problem has been, Michelle, that we've sold ourselves short. But those miners that I've spoken to, they want the government to get theirs. In fact, they gave me the documents and told me the Bahamian people need to see what has been going on. One man told me, Michelle, I feel so guilty. I've made millions of dollars from what belongs to the Bahamian people. Lincoln, they need to know what's going on. Here's the document. Now, this is the same document a few days before the leader of the opposition, Brave Davis, was in the House saying that the government needs to table the bill. But we presented the bill. All right. He could have been in charge of the PAC. He could have just ordered them bring the bill to him. But he didn't. He wanted to talk. And so we know that these foreign investors are willing to pay their fair share. They have no problem. They told me that.
Somebody is saying he never said that. Anastasia Francis says he never said that.
He never said what?
I'm not sure. You just said something that the leader of the opposition said.
Yeah, I said that he asked the minister administration to table the bill, the Aragonite bill. He did say that in the House of Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so what I'm saying, and there's nothing wrong, or if he said that, he didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is we need to go from having oppositions talk to having oppositions do, to stand up. You know what you can do. You know what you have the power to do. They do it in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care if you're the president, if you've done something wrong, they're going to impeach you. They don't care. Because that is what justice is about. That's what democracy is about. But ours, they'll just say something to say they said something and keep going to wait their turn to do nonsense. But again, to answer your question, we presented our plans. You can start to see our plans because I don't want to, try to take, an hour and explain in detail. But we're going to use the value of our natural resources like Dubai did, like Qatar did, like Norway did, because they were going broke when they found theirs. We're going to use that and invest it into Bahamians and invest it into other opportunities to begin to make money in other ways.
How long is that going to take, Lincoln? We got people right now who are struggling, who are hurting, and who are holding on to every word that you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
that when Lincoln Bain comes into power, I can get my $2,000. But what you're describing right now is going to take time.
Yeah, and I want to make clear that because people are gonna screen record this and say I'm switching from $100,000 to $2,000. No, that $2,000 is an immediate stimulus, like what Turks and Caicos government did immediately when they got in. All right, that this is gonna happen right away. That's why we are already doing the research, we're already doing the plans, and everyone can see what we're doing. And we are providing comprehensive plans, not bullet points. We are sitting down for 2 hours and laying it out for you, showing you examples of where it's happening, exactly where we're going to get the money from, etc. These are deals that you can sign in no time. All right. There are countries desperately needing these. Listen, the auto industry, they stopped making vehicles in some instances because they were running out of microchips. You know what microchips are made from? They're made from silica sand. All right. So they stopped operating because there was desperate need for chips all over the world. We are all talking about going digital. There needs to be more servers, more computers. Everyone is going online. The world is running out of chips. There's a chip shortage. For the world to go online, guess what they need? Silica sand. Guess who has the most of that? Us. And so the world needs what we have. So when you come to the table with, sometimes people just need to know, you've been in a business. If no one knows what you have and you've not been promoting it, then they don't know to come to you. We are the same way we aggressively go out there and advertise tourism to benefit these foreign companies. Mm-hmm. We're going to let the world know, listen, we are open for business for our natural resources. It's going to be done responsibly. All right. But we're going to identify them and they're going to come on board right away. We know it. We're already talking to persons. All right. And so we believe that within a few months, we're going to be able to transform this entire nation.
All right. Some big promises there, boy.
Yes. and screen record this and save it.
I hope you know Bahamian people like elephant. They don't forget.
Of course.
All right. So you better be ready. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to continue the conversation with Lincoln Bain. The show today has been called Choices, Choices, Choices. And we're going to talk more on the other side of the break about more of the plans of the the Coalition of Independents. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Ocean blue is the best in seafood, hey, hey. Fresh out the water and affordable too, yeah. We got fish, conch, lobster, shrimp, everything you want, Ocean Blue got it. Ocean Blue, friendly and clean, best service you ever seen. Ocean Blue is the best in seafood, yeah. Fresh out the water and affordable too, yeah. Ocean Blue Seafood, we are here for you. Ocean Blue Seafood, no one else will do. Ocean Blue Seafood, located on Burnett Road. Contact us at 393-2160.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with mailboat US addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by
Classic Formal Wear, the place where you can find everything you need for that special occasion.
and by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. Time flies when you're having fun. We only have 15 minutes left in the show and so much more to cover. Wow. I want to read a couple of your comments. So Margaret says, we should stop, review, and cancel every contract that is not in the interest of this country or our people. Cheryl says, question for Lincoln. In one of the documentaries where the lady from Calcium did she say that 150 billion tons of aragonite was on the Little Bahama Bank? How much aragonite is throughout the entire Bahamas? Well, Cheryl, you have to go to their website because we ain't discussing aragonite no more. This is not a show on aragonite. We got a lot to cover. So go check out their website, and I'm sure Lincoln will tell you what that website is again before the end of the show. Now, this is a good question coming in from Perline. Perline says, how are you going to decide who is Bahamian or not?
Well, the Bahamian people are going to decide. Last night I did a live showing how we're going to do certain processes. Bahamians are going to be allowed to vote for a lot of things through a blockchain app where we can verify who you are. And Bahamians are going to make certain decisions. Right now, we have the criteria at passport carrying Bahamians, but we're going to allow Bahamians to choose what that means to them. And so starting out, is not going to be naturalized persons. It's going to be persons who are born there. So not because you simply come to the Bahamas and marry a Bahamian means that you're entitled to these special privileges. You'll have be entitled to other special privileges, the free healthcare, free electricity and that kind of stuff. But as it relates to the checks that you get, we don't want people to just come and flood the Bahamas. And so if you look at Qatar and Dubai, you can't naturalize yourselves in the Qatar and Dubai. You can be a resident, but you can't just marry someone and then be entitled to what the other persons who were born there entitled to. Now, your husband or your wife will be, and of course, we're going to have equal rights in terms of laws. But your husband or wife will be able to, but not. This is for real Bahamians.
What is your position on illegal immigration?
I have said over and repeatedly that we believe that the Bahamas is for Bahamians first, and we are going to enforce that. You would remember that I'm the person who went over to Abaco to show what has been going on there, to show that we're not going to have any more shanty towns in this country. I went into the Haitian village and spoke to the Haitians live for everyone to see, talking to them about what we're going to do. We have to deal with this problem. The immigration problem in this country came about because of corruption. It's because of certain wealthy people who wanted to benefit from modern day slavery. And so they're not working for free, but they want cheap labor, all right, and have people living like animals. It's like a doghouse where you have no electricity, no water. That's how you're living. And so we don't think that people should live like that. It's a human rights issue for me. And so we're going to end shanty towns.
How?
If
That's a big promise, Lincoln. I mean, how you can do that? You know how many shanty towns in this country? How you can end that?
That's a very simple problem.
Please explain.
That's not hard at all.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, when persons leave their country, for example, when Haitians leave Haiti and go to Miami or New York or Quebec or France, they don't live in shanty towns.
Mm-hmm.
They live in homes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What we're going to do is we're going to make a call for all people to come forward. There's going to be an amnesty period. All right. There's going to be an amnesty period. If you're legal in this country, you come forward. And you're going to be regularized in this country. We're going to identify who you are. We're going to take biometrics so that we know who you are. So if you happen to come back on a boat, we know who you are. You're coming to this country. And for persons who already have a job, etc., we can regularize you. If you don't, you go home. We have you on a list for persons who can come back. Now, some people say you shouldn't allow these people to come back because they broke the law. But the fact of the matter is we allowed them to break the law. We caused this problem. So we have to have a negotiation where both sides win. There's a win-win. All right, we have to take some of the blame for what has happened. We have hired persons who are illegal to do our yards. I'm not just the oligarchs have hired them and put them in slave conditions.
Right.
So we're gonna send them back, and as we're building the new Bahamas, we're gonna need people who have experience with the Bahamas, who know where to go, and these would be the first people that you want to bring back. All right. But now, why they have no problem with this, and even though I told them that some of them will be going home, is because now you're in a system. The biggest part of our problem with the immigration problem is you have people living here with no driver's license, no bank account, can't open a business, can't go to college. They are just living in a situation like almost like animals. And that is what we need to fix. And it causes a crime problem. You understand? And so we're going to fix that. We're going to know everyone who is in this country. We're going to crack down on immigration, which they can do. And we're going to fix the problems.
All right. I don't know if you completely answered the question as to how you can get rid of shanty towns, but okay. We
It is very simple. I said on a live before, we're going to start to build proper housing that persons who are regularized and here properly, they can start to move into them. As we build these proper housing that is going to be owned by the Sovereign Wealth Fund, Bahamians are going to benefit from immigrants coming and living here to work. That money from the rent is going to go to the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and every Bahamian is going to benefit from that. But as we build them, we start to break down shanty towns, so you're not just putting people in the bush and them moving elsewhere. So we're going to resolve this systematically.
We have a caller on the line. Caller.
Go ahead.
Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon now, GPS Live. And I want to say good afternoon to your guest, a sovereign
Now, Amos, before you start, we only got a couple minutes left, so you can't run on. Yeah.
I ain't running on.
All right.
I ain't running on.
Okay.
I just called to say to the Bahamian people, our foreparents, our patriarch and matriarchs over the years playing politics have eaten their children playing politics. This man has come to save your children. And I am here today on this show, like I would be on other shows before the day is out, to confirm everything he said is true. Now, no one is going to mix Amos up. I'm focused in God's word. And God's word have confirmed everything that came out of that young man's mouth. You could be an F&M, you could be a PLP, you could be an independent. And I'm telling you, he's speaking about your divine heritage. And I'm happy to confirm everything he said. And listen to me. He's from Auckland and I'm from Auckland. And when we talk, we don't lie. And we research everything we have to say that we want to say. If we don't say it, that's because we don't want to say it.
Okay.
Period.
You finished?
But Mr. Bain, Godspeed.
Thank you, man. God bless you.
Because, you got to control Amos, because he can eat up all your time. He wasted JD. Okay, so you started to say something before the call came in. Can you recall what that was you were going to say?
No, I just wanted to say that we're going to release our immigration plan very shortly. We're meeting with immigration and the immigration union first. We're meeting with the stakeholders of every single area before we release our plans, because the plans need to come from the people. These plans that came from politicians before came from some dark room somewhere with politicians in it, and they just told us what we're going to do in this country. We are changing the game. We are meeting with stakeholders in every single area. So when we bring a plan, it's a real people's plan. And so that's what we're doing.
I have a comment from Perlene. Perlene says, it sounds like you will be recalling a lot of documents.
We're going to run a proper investigation, and we're going to fix this problem. We have the courage to, and there's no one who is going to call us. And let me tell you something. I've said this publicly, that the next prime minister of this country is going to be the minister of immigration. That's how serious we take this, that I am going to be the minister of immigration, and I am going to fix this problem. There won't be the situation like Loftus Roker, who went out there to make a change, and then they told him, hey, leave that alone. And then Brian McCartney went to make a change in the F&M to start dealing with the problem. They said, hey, leave that alone. No one is going to call me, but we're going to deal with people fairly and decently, and we're going to treat people with respect. But we have to fix this country for us. We're losing our country, Michelle.
Siobhan says, not sure if we're ready for a republic, but good plan. How do you respond?
Well, go and look at the plan that we gave yesterday, and you will see that we need it. The problem is we don't have any identity. There's nothing to being a Bahamian. We need to become a republic, and we need to benefit from what's going on in our country. And so Bahamians weren't ready for independence, actually. In 1972, when they asked Pinland if he was going to go in go independent. He told him no, because he didn't want to really ask the question, because he knew a lot of Bahamians would have not been for it. And then afterwards, he just came out and did it. We're telling you up front. That we are going to go Republic.
Okay. We had a call on the line, but accidentally dropped. So please call us right back quickly, because we only have 6 minutes left in the show. And this will be our final call for the day. Lincoln, you talk a good game. But as the Bayman people like to say, talk is cheap, but money buy land. So
as you can see, one thing about me, if you've been watching me over the years, I don't just talk. And every show I had, when I was doing a talk show, I said, this is an action show, not a talk show. And you would see me on the streets, not just on the radio or on TV. We're taking action. We're putting plans together that people can trust. We're meeting with all of the union. We just met with the TUC. In fact, we believe in workers so much, we are incorporating the TUC's workers plan into what we're doing. We're meeting with every single stakeholder. We just met with the police and their association. And so we are making sure that these are real plans for the people that we can see come to fruition. We're showing you in every plan where the money is coming from, how it's going to get done. All right, we're talking about carbon credits. That is going to fund our electricity push and the change in going solar. We explain how that is going to be done. Just go to our website, coalitionofindependence.com, and you will see all of our plans. If you want to see our documentaries and all of the stuff from before, go to bahamianevolution.com, and you will see all of that.
Say what you like about Pinling. Hate him, love him, or in between. You cannot deny that he had a vision for this country.
Yes.
And I dare say that we have strayed away from what I believe was the vision of Sir Lyndon and those who were the forefathers, the founding fathers of our nation. What is your vision for the Bahamas? And I know I only give you 4 minutes to answer, but it is what it is. What is your vision for this country?
Our vision for the Bahamas is to, one, find our identity first and foremost. We have to find identity, and that's why we're going Republic. Secondly, we want a country where we are first. Man, we finally need a country where Bahamians are put first and Bahamians are empowered over everyone else. We want a government that is constantly thinking for Bahamians, thinking how we can benefit from this country. That is our plan for this country. We want Bahamians to benefit and be first. Right now, they have a model where you sit down, wait for a foreigner to come with a dream, and you help him accomplish that dream, and you give Bahamians a job. That's the only vision they have for this country. If the FNM or PLP gets back in after this election, that's the dream. That's what they're going to push forward. You get jobs. The Bahamian dream has been a hotel or government job, a low cost, and a Honda with rims. That's the Bahamian dream. We are going to empower Bahamians. That is what we believe in.
All right. Real quick, give us the contact information for persons who want more information, the website address, all that kind of stuff, where they can go, etc.
If you want more information, you can go to Coalition of Independence. That's TS, not CE. All right, Independence. Coalitionofindependence.com. You can also go to bahamianevolution.com if you want to see some of the past things that we have done. And you can get all of our contacts right there. During any of my lives, you can come on there and ask questions. We are not an administration that's going to be running from the people. We don't run from any questions. If you have any questions, if there's something you don't believe or understand, not only are we dropping the plans, but we take questions every single week, so that if something you don't believe in is something that doesn't make sense, you can come there, expose it, and let's make this make sense. We don't want to sell dreams to anyone, Anything that we are planning, we allow the Bahamian people to contribute. Every time we release a plan, we have an area on our website with the plan that you can add what you think should be added to it. We don't believe politicians know it all. And so you can add your plans to it. And so you could go right to our website and do it at any time. But we take your questions every single week. If something doesn't make sense, if you don't believe that every Bahamian can get $100,000, if you believe it's going to cause inflation or whatever you believe, just come right there and we can answer all of your questions, because we believe in everything that we've been saying. But mostly, Michelle, we believe that we've been going in circles in the wilderness for far too long, and it's time for a new Bahamas. We believe that change is coming. We have to take the power away from the people who have been controlling it. They've not been looking out for Bahamians. They have failed, Michelle. And so we are going to black out. We are going to block out the power of the politicians, block out the power of the evil oligarchs. We are going to block them out. And we're going to bring change to this country. And we're calling on everyone in this country to go black. We've suffered, as we've suffered from blackouts because of lack of vision and because of corruption. Now we're going to block them out. We're going to take power away from them. And we're going to Robin Hood them, Michelle. We're going to give it back to the people.
All right, that's our time. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And I think I can keep a job after this one. Thanks for being here, eh?
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's show. Tomorrow, we're going to have the Speaker of the House in the house. Well, actually, virtually. He's going to be joining us via StreamYard. And boy, do I have a lot to ask him. It's going to be a good one. And then on Wednesday, do not miss Wednesday's show. We will have Dr. Robert Malone, the inventor of mRNA technology that's being used in these mRNA vaccines. He's going to be on the show live on Wednesday, and you'll be able to ask him your questions about these new variants and the vaccine and all that good stuff. This man is an expert, so you ought to listen to what he has to say. That's going to do it for today's show. It's 1 o'clock. Got to get out of here. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.